Well, this is a pattern we've seen throughout the U.S. all year long. We started off this year with some pretty decent gains in the labor market. There was evidence that the economy was going to pick it up a notch earlier this year in the first quarter, and then things kind of leveled out. That was true of the national labor market. It's also been true here in California at the state and local levels. So the unemployment rate here for the month of August in California was 10.6%. Down slightly from the prior month, but it is down better than a percentage point from a year ago. So certainly that's welcome news. Well, the month-to-month gains have been a little bit less than satisfying, but still we added 12,000 jobs to our job base, so that's welcome. On a year-over-year basis, however, we added just shy of 300,000 jobs in August, and that comes on the heels of really very good gains back in July when we added over 360,000 jobs. So as far as California is concerned, when you look on a year-over-year basis, we're actually doing better than the nation as a whole and doing better than many states across the country. Well, a couple of things are happening sort of behind the scenes. If you take a look at the numbers, you'll notice, again, both nationally and here in the state of California, that our labor force has actually been shrinking. It has a little bit to do with the demographics, the boomer generation, the oldest members of which are in their mid-60s at this point, are beginning to leave the labor force. And so labor force participation's on the decline. And so the base against which the unemployment rate is gauged is actually falling, and that's meant as a result that the unemployment rate's not falling nearly as fast as you would think. So a year ago we were looking at a pretty mixed bag in terms of some sectors of the economy performing, others were lagging. At this point we're seeing just about every part of the economy adding jobs, and that's been the case for the last 3 or 4 months at least. The exceptions are government, where we know we're continuing to face challenges, and we've also seen a slight decline in manufacturing, and that's pretty much been the case throughout this year, not just here in California, but across the country. But we've added jobs even during the recession in private education, in healthcare. That was again the case here in the month of August. We had a welcome increase in the number of construction jobs, and so that's very important. We had well over 900,000 people employed in that sector during the boom. Now we're right around 570,000 people, but that number is increasing, and it was up by a nice 6% on a year-over-year basis. We're also seeing well-paying jobs being added in the professional and business services sector. And then at the other end of the spectrum, if you will, we're seeing job gains in leisure and hospitality and some very modest gains right now in retail. I think it's definitely worth noting at this point that we're practically firing on all cylinders here. All of the sectors of the economy are beginning to show decent job growth. Well, sure. Indeed, the economy at all levels, state, national, and local, has been improving at a much slower pace than any of us is comfortable with. I think it's most discouraging, of course, to people who are out of work and are very frustrated by the situation they've faced over the last few years. And so we really need to recognize that we're well away from the worst days of the Great Recession, which ended 3 years ago, so it was actually 4 years plus when we had the Great Recession upon us, the financial crisis. We're a long ways away from that in terms of the performance of the economy. We still have a ways to go, but clearly we're making steady progress, and that's a welcome development.